it's Maura Laura with another art project for you. I hope you enjoyed last week's. I know I really enjoyed getting emails from you and seeing the artwork that you created based on the video last week. So thank you so much for sharing, and keep sending those shares with me at my email that Miss Zoe sent to your parents. I would love to see more of your work. And even if it's not based on the project, if you want to just send me pieces of art that you're doing all on your own and being creative, I'd love to see those too. So last week we worked on doing an abstract piece of work with glue. And sometimes some people like the abstract, but other people want something more concrete, a more permanent or a more familiar object like a dog or a cat. So just very quickly this morning, it's not quite yet dried, I did a glue resistance with doing kind of a self-portrait of myself. And I wish I'd thought of it sooner, but one way to do this, instead of using just plain white glue, if you want to try something different, is to take a little Ziploc bag, add some glue, add some water, and add a little black paint to it, and then have your folks make a very, very, very tiny, tiny hole in one corner, and you could squeeze it out. Just like, I don't have very much in here because I was using it for something else. Well, you start to see how the glue is black right there. So that's another option for you if you like that gluing project that I did last week. So this week, I've been spending a lot of time outside, and one of my favorite times to take a walk is early morning, just as the sun rises. I love listening to the birds and watching the sky change colors. It's just a special time of day. But there's one thing I've discovered on my walks, and that is I'm breaking a lot of the spider webs in my neighborhood that have been built up overnight. But this morning when I was on my walk and breaking another spider web, it made me think of you. It made me think of another object that we could create together, and that would be a spider web resistance. So this spider web I did with crayons, but you could do it just like we did last week and use glue instead of crayons. So I'm going to demonstrate the crayon technique that creates the resistance for the paint. But just know that you could go back and use your old trusty glue instead of the crayons. Okay, so this project is going to require you to have crayons and a little bit of water, a paintbrush or two, and your watercolors. I decided, since I'm getting a lot of packages these days, to do a little upcycle and to use cardboard. You don't have to use cardboard if you don't want to recycle it, but I would also suggest either using cardstock, that's a heavier type of paper, or if you have it, some heavy watercolor paper would be great too for this project. I also thought it would be fun to cut out a round shape of the spider web, so that's another option you can do, in which case you would definitely need scissors. Okay, so let me show you how this works. Since I'm doing a spider web, I'm going to use white. And I'm going to come in a little bit, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to just draw a circle. And if you're not good at drawing circles, you could always get a big bowl or a cup or something to help you draw your circle. And you want to make the white line, oops, my crayon broke, but that's okay. You want to make the white line nice and thick. And then you're going to make a line from the top all the way down to the bottom. And then you're going to take your crayon and go from one side to the other. Oops, you don't want to press too hard like I just did and break the cardboard, but that's okay. And then you're going to cut it again. It's kind of like creating a pizza shape, isn't it? And you're just making your nice thick white lines with the crayon. And now to make the spider web, I like to use a smiley face shape. So it's just a little dip and another dip and another dip. And I also like to kind of be off balance a little bit, so I'm not going directly across from the first one. Just to give it a little more whimsy, make it look more natural. And you could always practice your drawing if you're nervous and use a pencil very lightly and then go back with the crayon. But it's also okay to make mistakes and start over. Nothing wrong with that. Just like I made a mistake with pressing too hard, it's okay. Great. Okay, so now I have my spider web shape. And next, what I'm going to do, since I like to walk in the morning at sunrise time, I was looking at the spider webs and all the beautiful colors in the sunrise, and so I think I'm going to kind of stick with doing kind of a sunrise color scheme. So I'm going to definitely use a little bit of blue. And one of the tricks for this is to dip your brush in the water and make a puddle in the colors of the watercolor that you're going to make. So you can see I'm taking my brush several times, like 3 or 4 times. I'm taking my paintbrush and creating a little puddle on top of each of my paints. Okay. Awesome. So I'm going to start off with the first colors that I saw in the sunrise, and that is just with the little dark blue last bit of it. You can see I just stroke over the white crayon and it resisted the watercolor. The watercolor only went on the part that didn't have the crayon. Isn't that fun? And oh, I definitely saw a little bit of pink in the sky this morning. The swallowtail birds are back in Gainesville. So those were really fun to watch this morning, flying around. I think I also saw a very young Cooper hawk. And you can just see I'm just taking my colors and I'm keeping my paints wet. Remember, you want just a little petal of color on top of them. And I don't have to do each, I can kind of bounce around a little bit with my yellow first. It's just so much fun, isn't it, to watch how the crayon stops the color from being in that space, just like the glue did last week. You see a lot of resistance work. Watercolorists use this technique to keep colors separate. Also, when people make paint scarves, for instance, they use a special resistance. And I like bouncing around all over my color palette. we go. Isn't it looking cool? Oh, you know, I have a little bit of blue on that side, but none on this side. So I'm gonna go back and do that. Ooh, kind of made a purple there, which is nice. And then, I don't know if you saw, but just kind of, I got too much water on there. That's okay. I'm just gonna shake it off. Or, if I was smart, I would have brought my paper towel with me. Okay, a little bit more of the orange just to bring up the pop. And I think definitely like the pink in there. Okay, and there we have our spider web. What do you think? Isn't that pretty? And another thing that you could do is that you could also think about other things in nature. You could think about, I saw a turtle at Depot Park the other day. That would be really fun to do with this technique. But I think right now I'm going to draw a leaf. Ooh, you know what? Since I'm doing a leaf, I think maybe I'll change the color of my resistance. Instead of white, let me try this gray and see what happens. And I'm just going to draw a leaf shape real quick. And then I'm going to make the veins. There's the center of my leaf. And then I'm going to go back and make the veins of the leaf. Again, see how I'm jumping? I'm not making another vein directly connected to it. I'm jumping one up just to add a little more interest to it. And you know, of course, leaves come in all different shapes, so you could try a leaf that maybe is more pointy and has 3 segments to it. All different kinds. In fact, you might even go on a nature walk, see what you can find, and then come back and see if you can draw it. That would be fun. It's also a good way to keep track of what you see on nature walks, is to draw it. And this time, I'm going to bring my leaf picture up so you can see it. This time I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of green. And I'm still liking to jump around a little bit. I'm lucky my watercolors has 2 colors of green. And again, I'm creating a pool of water on top of my green, on top of my colors. And then I grab watercolor. And again, it's resisting that one spot. And I'm going to pretend that this is a new leaf that's just coming, just budding in this wonderful springtime. And I'm adding a little bit of yellow just to show that, ooh, look how that worked out. That looked out nice. Almost a bright green, showing that it's a new leaf. But you know what? It's also okay to create leaves of other colors. You don't have to use green to create a leaf. You use a totally different color for your leaf. And there you have it. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoyed this art project. There's so many things that you can do with it. I'll be really curious to see what emails you send me and what images you choose. Did you choose something that I did today, like a spider web or a leaf, or a self-portrait, or did you choose a whole different image? I'd love to see them. Thanks so much for visiting me here on the YouTube channel. I can't wait to see you guys in person though. That would be the most fun. So take care and be well. Bye.